Bitcoin is still bleeding. Fear and greed index अब वापस से extreme fear पे आ गया है, which is at 14. And while we were still shaking off the $19 billion liquidation wick from October, last 2 weeks have also been very eventful to say the least. But while markets keep bleeding, something else caught our eye: vaults. Now, why are we talking about vaults? Because जब दुनिया में अनस्टेबिलिटी हो, wars हो, tariffs हो, government shutdown हो, maybe not chasing 20x leverage trades every day, and chasing some sovereign grade yield is the way to go. Vaults are no longer just DeFi apps. They are being touted as the new Swiss bank account. Today we ask, in a market that you have been losing money trading yourself, should you allocate capital into vaults and let a smart contract do the heavy lifting? We'll be unpacking this and a lot more. I have Narkundi with me, I have Crypto Daddy with me, and Real is back from Epstein Island. This is the Baaps of Crypto podcast. Welcome back, and let's go. Welcome back, guys. Realist, आ गया तू? कैसा था एप्स्टीन
Back from the
आइलैंड?
dead. Back from the dead. हाँ मैंने सोचा कि ये लोग फाइल्स रिलीज कर ले, फट से भाग जाता हूँ वहां से.
Dude, like this whole week, like ऐसा रहा है कि कुछ ना कुछ एक के बाद एक चीजें फट रही हैं, and ये पूरा
Yeah.
weekend तो it was just about since जब से DOJ ने रिलीज किया, it's all about Epstein Island. मुझे तो
I
ये
think
लगा
when I initially was on that break, I think the initial first week was fine, and then suddenly over the past 5, 6, 7 days, the world has come to an end. There's war, markets have tanked, Epstein filed issue, and yeah,
commodities
suddenly,
altcoin ban gaye.
oh
Meme
yeah,
coins
yeah,
ban
yeah.
gaye.
Commodities have become meme coins. Yeah, they're the new meme coins.
Yeah.
So
Gold
all
and
of
silver
that.
are the new meme coins.
silver
Correct.
at
And now
$1.
suddenly, yeah, 40%, I think.
Yeah,
Something
40%.
like that. Yeah, 40 odd percent. So they are behaving like meme coins, and yeah, so the world has been burning. So
Yeah,
I
समझ नहीं आ
guess
रहा
the
कि
gold was
मार्केट्स
back.
प्राइस इन क्या कर रही हैं, कि क्या क्या नई प्राइस इन कर रही हैं वो कि
So the interesting take on the market now is the world is actually preparing for deflation, right? I think we spoke about this in one of our podcasts earlier,
yeah.
that we will soon have deflation at a point of time. And while the markets were preparing for inflation all this while, now they're preparing for deflation. And in deflation, you're not supposed to hold assets. You're supposed to hold treasuries. And when you hold treasuries, you sort of fly back to dollar and T-bills. So that's what we are seeing. So
देखा
yeah,
मैंने
so the market is still deciding whether
yeah.
there's going to be
I think
deflation or
एक
inflation. I
report
don't
भी आई
know.
थी, right? कि like next 10 years may expect 3% on equities. I think JP Morgan की थी या
Exactly. So
Morgan
if the
Stanley,
markets
one of
are
them
preparing for
said it,
deflation right now,
right?
yeah, I want to see. I want to see how India is going to react tomorrow, because India has been brutal. I mean, Indian markets have been sort of hammered pretty bad, because the budget wasn't too market friendly. Budget was
Yeah.
economy friendly. But we know what can happen. Like we've seen China do this before. China came out with fantastic economic measures, but the market stayed range bound for 10 years. We've seen that with Nikkei as well in Japan, right? Markets didn't perform, but the economy did well. So I want to see how India performs tomorrow, because the trade deal has just been signed between India and the US, right? And it's one of the lowest tariffs in the world. So and obviously the markets were pricing in negative tariffs. I don't know how the markets are going to price in like a good tariff rate. तो वो कल सुबह पता लगेगा. Let's see.
India, US, पर India has been we've been talking about this जब तू नहीं था कि India has been signing a lot of trade deals with different countries, right?
Yeah, the mother of all deals.
Mother of all deals
Yeah.
Mother
हुआ.
of all deals. Yes.
आज
Yeah.
कनाडा से आया, तुमने देखा कि नहीं? कुछ वो यूरेनियम की कुछ हुआ, नेक्स्ट वीक को या नेक्स्ट मंथ वो आ रहा है मार्क कानी, तो उसके साथ एक ट्रेड डील साइन करेंगे. एंड
Yeah.
ब्राजील से वो भी आ रहा है, क्या नाम है उसका? लूला राइट? लूला इज कमिंग. सो एक हम लोग सिल्वर की बात कर रहे थे, तो एक ये इंटरेस्टिंग थोड़ी थ्योरी आए कि जेपी मॉर्गन वाले मैनिपुलेट कर रहे हैं. आई डोंट नो इफ यू गाइस सॉ दिस. लेट मी जस्ट पुट इट ऑन स्क्रीन.
But
Did you hear JP Morgan saying by 2026 then gold will hit 6,400?
अरे
No,
छोड़ो
so
यार.
I don't know, like, so there has been this thing, like, people have been crying on X, and I saw a lot of big influencers also talking about this. कि JP Morgan obviously पहले भी एक बार इसमें पकड़े जा चुके हैं. They were manipulating silver prices by taking shorts, and उसके बाद उन्होंने किसी
And
तरह
keeping the silver prices suppressed,
Yeah.
right? I think
yeah
that's what they were
Yeah.
yeah
accused of doing. Yeah.
बिकॉज जो ये क्रैश आया है, बेसिकली ये बुल थ्योरी वाला क्या बोल रहा है, तो अगर आप देखो तो जो ये क्रैश आया है, इट्स ऑल जितना ये पेपर ट्रेडिंग हो रही है सिल्वर की उसकी वजह से. नहीं तो जो फिजिकल
Yeah.
मार्केट्स इन शंघाई एंड इंडिया, उन पे अभी भी क्या बोलते हैं प्रीमियम में बिक रहा है सिल्वर. लाइक इंडिया में 93 पे है, और शंघाई में तो 120 पे चल रहा है, एंड कोरिया में भी आई थिंक हाई पे चल रहा है. सो दिस वाज वन ऑफ द थ्योरीज की सिल्वर पे जेपी मॉर्गन वाले मैनिपुलेट कर रहे हैं. इन्होंने कुछ वो डाला भी कि आई डोंट नो, दे हैड लाइक स्क्रीनशॉट्स ऑफ कि उनके पहले 633 शॉर्ट ऑर्डर्स खुले हुए थे, एंड उसकी वजह से लाइक ऑब्वियसली ये सब कर रहे हैं वो. तो आई डोंट नो इफ यू गाइस सॉ दिस
Yeah.
स्टिल लाइक wild
And
speculation
we,
and rumor, but I wouldn't put
correct.
it past them.
I think one thing that all of us have maintained is the gold trade is how do we put it? It's a more of a secular trade, but the silver trade has always been a trader's trade, right? Because no central banks are loading up on silver per se, right? I mean, we've not seen that sharp rise in sort of silver loading up, and silver being such an industrially critical metal. I mean, you would definitely have everyone trying to suppress the prices of silver. It'll be, and I think it was the traders' trade that everybody started longing silver because nobody was long gold. And the gold silver ratio, I remember Narkundi and I discussing this maybe about 5-6 months ago, that the gold silver ratio was at its lowest. Like it's pretty much like the ETH BTC ratio.
Yeah.
And I think that due for a rally that became a consensus trade, and it just sort of exploded from there, and a fantastic explosion. But yeah, I think silver is probably more volatile than gold, which is shown in the past. This 40% drop that we've seen. But then we suddenly, and this was fueled by the speculation that China has halted exports of silver, because I think they're one of the largest exporters of silver. And suddenly we saw this news that China has resumed silver exports, and they're like, you know what, there is no shortage of silver. We are going to ensure that the world is adequately stocked up when it comes to silver. So, like I said, it's more of a trader's trade. And I think if you want to expect that kind of rise, pretty much like meme coins, right? You're susceptible to more and more sort of movement, and that's something that we saw with silver. But gold, I think, irrespective of what the bankers are saying, I think gold still has more upside remaining, because the dollar debasement trade is still not over. I think it's still going to play out for the next 2-3 years. The dollar is not getting debased. The dollar is not losing world reserve currency status. We've seen this before. We've seen this with the Dutch dollar. We've seen this with the pound. There was a time when the sterling was a global reserve. It takes 100 odd years for these currencies to sort of stop becoming global reserves. And it's not that sterling got obliterated once it stopped becoming a global reserve currency. So we'll probably see that with the dollar as well. But the debasement trade is what's driving all these things up at this point of time, especially precious metals. So yeah, like, I mean, to be honest, if a metal that's been hit by I would say the momentary top, it's hard to call it a top in metals. We'll probably get to know that 3-4 months down the line. A metal that's been hit the most is probably copper. वो तो अपनी जर्नी शुरू कर रहा था यार, उसके वो स्टेशन से बस निकलने वाला था, वो ट्रेन पूरा मतलब इकोनॉमी बंद हो गया जिस सेक्टर में ऑपरेट, वो ट्रेन उसकी ट्रेन लाइन ही पूरी एकदम उड़ गई. So I think that's the one that's been hit the most.
Crypto Eddie का favorite.
That's one of my alphas. Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. That got hit the most. So we'll probably see this resume again, but yeah, price action is probably going to be interesting to watch over the course of 2026.
Actually, silver का भी जो मैं देख रहा था कि $80 तक तो it was making sense के जिस हिसाब से जा रहा था, पर वो 80 से जो 120 गया,
last 5-day move,
that was
मेरे हिसाब से तो यार वो बिल्कुल वो वही था कि साइकोलॉजिकल मार्क 100 टच किया, उसके बाद it went up just to clean people out. That's it.
Just to clean people out.
लेवरेज लॉन्ग ट्रेडर्स आए ना, they got wrecked. And उसमें एक और बड़ा वो था कि जो CME की जो लेवरेज ट्रेड लिमिट्स हैं They're like 30x, 50x. उसमें silver को 20% गिराओ, traders got wrecked. Seriously.
Plus margin requirements बढ़ा दिए लोग ने, 9 to
Exactly.
12% कर
Plus
दिया.
margin, exactly. So it was like a proper planned move.
Yeah, but I don't know. I think मैंने देखो बताया भी था क्रिप्टो आईडी की सिल्वर हैज ऑलवेज बीन लाइक दैट. हम लोग आज ये जो ओल्ड
Yeah,
कॉइंस
yeah,
देख रहे
yeah.
हैं,
I
लोग ऑल्ट्स
agree.
में रेक्ट हो रहे हैं, वो आज से मैं 15 साल पहले देख रहा था. लाइक दिस इज 15 years back that people were getting wrecked in silver futures. कि
Yeah,
हमेशा
yeah,
कोई ना कोई बहुत उड़ते थे लोग पहले इसमें. So they were silver is like the OG alt coin, right?
OG
कि
alt.
हमेशा
OG alt. So true. So
Okay,
true.
before we go any further, एक और चीज पे मुझे तुम लोगों से बात करनी थी, which is
Yeah.
ये भाई साहब. So strategy has acquired another 855 BTC for
Where's he
75.
shitting money from, man? But yeah, I think we've understood his business model. Bitcoin also bought apparently more ETH,
Yeah,
by the way, in
Bitcoin,
this last
Bitcoin
couple of days.
also.
About $100 million. Yeah.
तो इससे 87,000 पे इसकी buy
Wow.
price is 87,000 and
Yeah.
इसकी एवरेज कितनी हो गई इसकी?
average is like by
I think it's
76,000.
76. Yeah, 76 something there.
Wow.
And I don't know what people are saying that they want to liquidate Saylor. I mean, the business model, you can't liquidate.
Yeah, we had that discussion with these.
We've had that discussion. You can't liquidate a DAT. That's how digital asset treasury companies work. You cannot liquidate. Yeah, he will have a tough conversation with the shareholders. But to be honest, those shareholders want people who didn't know what they were getting into. It's not like Tom, Dick, and Harry put money into his DAT, right? It's obviously institutional capital which went in, which probably did not have the mandate to hold BTC on their own balance sheets. They did it through him because they were showing that they were simply holding MSTR on their balance sheets, which is something that they're completely allowed to do as per the SEC. So I don't know what people are saying that they're going to liquidate him. You can't liquidate a DAT. It's like, what he's doing is extremely risky and sounds Ponzi-like, but yeah, you can't, like, theoretically, you can't liquidate him. There's no liquidation price. Even if BTC starts trading at 50K, what's going to happen? Nothing. That's it.
And today also I heard that there was some bank or some company that was actually investing पता नहीं कितने 250-300 million in MSTR. It was like today's news.
Yeah.
So I mean, you have guys that are still investing in him. So
correct. So yeah, that's it.
Yeah, Michael Saylor के साथ क्या है कि the only person who can liquidate Michael Saylor is Michael Saylor.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct. If he decides to one day just go bonkers and just start selling his BTC, which he apparently won't, he plans to destroy his keys. So good luck with that.
Yeah, but yeah, like I mean, I respect the man's conviction and obviously. अगर 40-50 में चलेगा he's be like यार मैं तो नहीं बेच रहा, जो करना है कर लो लोग.
हाँ जो करना है कर लो.
इसका भी तो नाम था Epstein files में Michael Saylor का, but in a good way.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you so much for reminding me that the only people Epstein and his publicist hated was Michael Saylor. He was like that guy is like autistic. कोई समझ में नहीं आता. He has no क्या बोलते हैं कि
he has no vice on which we can blackmail him.
Correct. उसको पार्टी में बुलाते होंगे, वो कुछ भी बोल देता होगा वहाँ पे आके.
बोल देता होगा. हाँ यार, he was like कि उसको बोलने का तरीका ही नहीं आता, वो एकदम बेवकूफ आदमी है वो. तो yeah, तो Epstein वाले जो थे वो they were like कि यार इसको नहीं, we don't want him on our island.
Orange tie पहन के जाएगा island.
ठीक है, let's talk about vaults today. And the reason that I bring it up is because ठीक है यार, लोग जो है वो 20x leverage trade कर रहे हैं पूरे टाइम पे, and vaults are not sort of touted as your decentralized investment banks, right? कि you have like a curator and preset strategies and smart contract is trading. So maybe for all those people who've been losing money, trading leverage खुद से, जिनको जो सुबह उठते देखते यार ये अभी कम है, इस पे लगा देता हूँ, हो सकता है कि शायद ऊपर चले जाए, उससे अच्छा कि कोई ऐसी स्ट्रैटेजी वॉल्ट स्ट्रैटेजी में लगाएं. तो वी वांटेड टू टॉक अबाउट कि व्हाट आर वॉल्ट्स and are they actually working in this market? Realish, we'll start with you कि पहले तो ये समझा दे कि vaults होते क्या हैं और like क्या उसमें
in simple words, vaults are essentially hedge funds, right? So to speak, they're on-chain hedge funds. They're managed by people in the background, and the only thing is, unlike a hedge fund which probably has multiple gateways in which you can put in money, in a vault, especially the new vaults which have been designed, which are probably running on Morpho, Aave, etc., which unlike the ones before, anyone could sort of get in. It's very simple. You put in money, you can withdraw anytime you want, and your returns are accrued within the vault itself, and you can sort of withdraw it from there. That's so it's essentially a hedge fund which anyone can get access to, and how the fund is performing or how the vault is performing in this particular case is mentioned there. There are certain vault managers who are essentially hedge fund managers. Like, for example, let's say you want to invest in a hedge fund which is managed by maybe Goldman Sachs, right? So, us tarike se there are a couple of popular vault managers as well who are popular on a Morpho, who are popular on an Aave. I think the two largest ones are Stakehouse Capital and Gauntlet. Um, so yeah, and I think both combined, they manage roughly 50% of all Morpho TVL, I think, as far as I remember clearly, because Stakehouse Financial roughly manages about $2 billion in TVL, and Gauntlet also does, I think, something shy of 1.8 bill maybe. So both combined are roughly 50% of overall Morpho TVL. So they're pretty big, and they have a varied set of vaults. Again, like it depends. As a mutual fund select karte hain, based on your risk profile, you can sort of decide which vault you want to invest into. So something which is going to be very, very conservative, using maybe a USDC, and they all leverage these different kind of DeFi strategies, right? So just तरीके से, so like I mentioned, so you have a vault which is effectively a smart contract जिसके अंदर आप पैसा डालते हो, जिसके अंदर से आप पैसा निकाल सकते हो. जो पैसा डिपॉजिट होता है पीछे एक वॉल्ट का मैनेजर होता है who can levy a charge on this, a success fee or maybe a management fee which is deducted on a yearly basis, and he has the right on how the funds are effectively invested, and he designs the strategy and presets the strategy into the contract, and that's how it follows. And like I mentioned, there are conservative vaults which probably give you anywhere between 3 to 4% APR on maybe stables. Then you have a couple of complex sort of DeFi looping strategies, but conservative looping strategies which will sort of give you anything between 8 to 10%. Then you have certain risky strategies as well, depending on which chain you're operating on, because the highest APR on an ETH that you can probably get is anywhere in the range of maybe 8 to 10%. There are a couple of other tier 2 vault managers as well, who are, I wouldn't call them tier 2 just because they manage lesser money than Stakehouse Financial and Gauntlet. It's because they're just sort of getting there in terms of assets under management figures, right? So they're probably at sub $500 million ranges. You'll probably find that they're maybe dealing with certain less popular stable coins, जहाँ पे आपको कुछ incentives मिल रहे हैं from the stable coins itself. So the APR is a combination of native APR plus incentives that you can probably get in maybe native tokens, right? It is a combination of both. So it all depends. So I think it's a fantastic innovation that we've probably seen, and how protocols such as Morpho and now obviously Aave is sort of leveraging all of that and gives effectively access to professionally managed capital to retail. And if you look at, and like I mentioned, the whole new standards for vaults, which is effectively ER 4626, it's nothing but a more composable vault, because vaults have existed for a very, very long time, right? Pehle Yearn ke vaults hote the, if you folks remember, which was effectively, Yearn was Sonic Phantom co-founder, right? Andre Cronje was effectively the founder of Yearn. He built it for himself, right? Because he wanted, because उसमें क्या होता था कि पहले कर्व पे कोई yield मिल रहा है, यूनिस्वैप पे कोई yield मिल रहा है, तो he basically wanted यार कि मेरे को एक contract मिल जाए जो बस सर्च करता रहे कहाँ पे ज्यादा APR मिल रहा है, and just keep switching my money from one to the other. Now he built it for himself. He probably did say, and again, you could create your own Yearn vaults and earn off of it as well, but it wasn't composable with a wider DeFi ecosystem. So 4626 effectively sets that standard and says, ki bhai, it creates like a professional vault manager who can tweak the strategy, who can change the asset sort of management charge fee, which he can sort of charge on a yearly basis, and easy withdrawal, easy deposits. It's very transparent. There are no sort of different hocus pocus tokens which are effectively given to the depositors. of the vault, and these vaults will effectively be integrated simply like APIs, जिस तरीके से Uni V4 भी काम करता है, with certain trading bots we can which sort of use them to sort of exploit those strategies which are sort of set within and help sort of design those strategies. And any sort of आज के दिन में जैसे neo banks are the new sort of flavor of the town. They can also integrate with these vaults and make depositing and withdrawal from simple Web2 like looking dashboards into vaults very seamless. So that's vaults in a nutshell, which I think are a beautiful innovation, and which is why we've seen protocols such as Morpho do so well. I think they're one of the fastest growing. They've already reached about 6 billion TVL. They're obviously not as large as Aave, but yeah, I mean, effectively, vaults are effectively being used by both Aave as well as Morpho for easy deposit and withdrawals for their users.
एंड मुझे ये बता कि इतने इतने दिन से जो मार्केट्स जिस हिसाब से चल रही हैं, राइट, उनमें have these vaults been performing? Like if people are sort of investing in these vaults, उनका क्या रहा है? Like are they like dying out, or are they just like, you know?
I would say they are thriving. So, एक second, let me just bring up. Okay, so first example, Ondo ka. So Ondo gives you stablecoin yields, and last 1 year, mein, the token, which is basically a governance token for them, that has gone down 75%. But at the same time, jo TVL hai for Ondo, that has gone up from 0.5 billion to almost 3 billion. So for them, it's like, okay, it's gone up 5x. So that just tells you that ki users ki appetite and interest kis taraf ja raha hai, and risk taking capacity kam ho rahi hai.
Right.
1 second. So that's with Ondo, and I think with Ondo, because they specifically invest in US Treasury, so it's the safest RWA asset you can think of. And anyways, like US Treasuries account for like 1/3 of the RWA total assets out of 33 billion. So this just tells you that users have been wrecked so much in the last 1 year, 2 years, etc., that people are understanding, like how you said, that no need of going for 20x, go with the lesser, much safer product. And that also explains like why in DeFi Llama you can see like there's almost 300 billion in stable coins right now. Another example, Pendle Finance. So with Pendle, what they do is that they split the reward. So you have a principal token, and then you have a yield tokens, and users can decide if they want to trade their yield token at a discount, at a premium with other users. So with them, it's slightly risky, but you can see that the TVL has gone down, but at the same time, the revenue has stayed pretty much the same. And Ullo ke case mein, what they've done is they have a new product called Pendle Boros. So over there, users are able to take positions on the funding rates, which means that if they are too aggressive, then they can try to go for a delta neutral strategy and say that, okay, I think this is too heated up. I might, I might try to make it more balanced with a negative funding rate. So for Pendle, yes, TVL has gone down, but again, users' interest is showing that they don't want to go too aggressive in terms of leverage, in terms of risk appetite, and have a mix. Like maybe they could have altcoins, maybe they could have BTC, etc. But when it comes to DeFi, this is the trend that is leading towards that. Yes, people are ready to pull up in DeFi pools, which are essentially, having collateral backed by US Treasuries, and they're still okay with it, with the yields that they can get out of it.
Got it. ठीक है. So, yani, this was like all about walls, but Nirkani, do you want to add anything else?
No, let's continue. Let's come back to it.
No, continue like if you want to.
No, not now. Let's see your crypto ID and we'll see.
Got it. Crypto ID, तू क्या बोलता है कि are you still wanting to trade yourself? Yeah, will you still advise people to trade themselves? Yeah, better vault में डाल दे पैसे.
Yeah, to be honest, it's a it's more of a personal choice. My personal opinion is right. There are traders who trade themselves also, but they have like built-in
Hey,
bots who are
okay, let me
working for them,
let me
right?
rephrase the question. Given the current state of the markets and the kind of liquidations that we've been seeing, right? 19 बिलियन तो सिर्फ 10 पे हुआ था लास्ट के
I'll
2 हफ्तों
okay.
में
Let me answer
1
your. Let
बिलियन
me
और
answer for you.
2.5 बिलियन दैट इज 3.5 बिलियन लोग फिर भी पैसा लाके यानी उड़ाई जा रहे हैं
Okay, let me answer it in a different way then. Yeah, Diko, so when we're talking about vaults, right?
या
With personally right now, I would say कि यार in the current market situation, I would not trade at all, right? Because the way the market is fluctuating, right? In the last 5, 6, 7, let's say a week also, right? The market has been so volatile that you can't trade leverage. It's impossible to trade leverage. I mean, you can, but I wouldn't recommend. I mean, even the smartest traders are getting liquidated right now. Okay, so I wouldn't recommend that. When it comes to okay, let's be say कि चलो ठीक है, maybe vaults are safe, इधर से फिर बैठ हुआ yield को दे रहा है 8%, 10%, depending on whatever it is. But I'll link it to something not similar, but something that happens in crypto very often and has happened in the past with multiple protocols, and that is your liquidity trap. Okay, when markets get extremely volatile, right? Even the safest vaults can end up becoming a liquidity trap. और उसमें भी आपको नुकसान हो सकता है सो माय पर्सनल ओपिनियन इज कि भैया एट दिस पॉइंट इन टाइम यस वॉल्ट्स आर लुकिंग ग्रेट ठीक है बट आज के जमाने में हम बॉल्ट्स की बात करते हैं मसला ये होता है कि जो द पीपल दैट आर एक्चुअली ट्रेडिंग राइट सम ऑफ देम आर स्मार्ट दे नो ओके व्हाट सॉर्ट ऑफ वॉल्ट्स यू वांट टू गो इन दे आर लुकिंग एट द डेप्थ दे आर लुकिंग एट व्हाट लिक्विडिटी इज देयर दे आर लुकिंग एट व्हिच चेन इज इट ऑन राइट दे आर लुकिंग एट द टीवीएल बट द मेजॉरिटी ऑफ द पीपल आर जस्ट लाइक sheep they're just following the herd कि हाँ यार वॉल्ट में हर कोई पैसा बना रहा है 8-10 टका 12 टका बन रहा है तो लेट्स डू दैट इवेंचुअली होता क्या है दे एंड अप being on something, let's say on ETH, for example, ठीक है जहां पे आपका yield 3% 4% है और ETH पे slippage एकदम आ गया, there you have a liquidity trap, you get screwed. ठीक है so you have L2s available at that point in time just like Reyes said you have Aave you have other protocols who are a little stable little safer in such cases but I would still recommend कि भाई when the market are extremely volatile like in the current situation this market is not something that you can predict easily even with charts or with formulas or anything right there is so much uncertainty इतना geopolitical issues around the entire market that you can't really predict the market's next move. So with such high volatility, do not trade leverage. Rather stay in safer assets. That's what I've been saying for the last, I think, whole month. Okay, please stay in safer assets. You can the best option would be stay in spots, keep DCing as it goes further down. Eventually, these markets are going to move up. You are going to make money eventually. Play the longer game right now rather than short term gains के 6 महीने में 3 महीने में I'm going to make $1 million out of $10,000. Forget it, that's not going to happen. You're going to lose your $10,000.
got it ठीक है लेट्स जस्ट सी कि आज एक दो और क्या खबरें आई markets में तो एक I think realists you like that US ISM manufacturing PMI just came in
Yeah, I
at
know.
40-month high
Yeah.
of
Yeah, I know.
52.6 so expected
Yeah.
was 48.5
So
so
I think
this is
last month was when it was sort of below on a downward. I mean, it was a downtrend. I think this is the
downtrend
first green
first
tick.
time
Let's
yeah
see if this becomes a trend and Rahul Paul or Rahul Paul is proven right. We'll see.
yeah yeah
I
ठीक
think
है
the markets are breathing because of this only today. वो जो 75 से 78 पे आया है is just based on this news. I'm
Let's
just
see.
guessing.
तो सुबह में ही
वो
हो
तो
Yeah,
गया
could
था
be.
वो तो आई थिंक
Because
दैट तू इसलिए
75 टच
नोटिस
हो
कर
गया
रहा
बस
है
आज
तू इसलिए नोटिस कर रहा है क्योंकि यू जस्ट वांटेड ईथ टू गो बिलो 2200 इसलिए तू नोटिस कर रहा है क्योंकि
bro,
मैंने
I'm telling you, we will have this conversation very soon where I will tell you that I told you so.
देख भाई अभी तक क्लोज नहीं हुआ डेली क्लोज नहीं हुआ वापस से 2300 के ऊपर आ गया सो आई एम स्टिल इन द
Yeah.
क्लियर राइट नाउ ठीक है द फर्स्ट यूएस बैंक हैज फेल्ड इन 2026 amid a precious metals crash this was कौन सा था शिकागो बेस्ड metropolitan capital bank first in 2026 I guess yeah so we saw Tom Lee's Bitmine was about
Oof.
$6.7 billion down and फिर इसने भी like really said कि he also bought $97 million worth of ETH.
Um,
We, yeah. Okay, so
I think
White
पहले
House
5
calls क्या या नरकुंडी.
नहीं टॉमली का ये पहले 5 बिलियन था, अब 6.7 हो गया.
Yeah, that was at I
हाँ,
think that was when ETH was at 25
Yeah.
2600. उसके बाद और गिरा.
2800 पे था उस टाइम पे. हाँ,
Yeah, yeah.
बहुत मच पड़ गया
ठीक
था.
है. White House calls crypto and banks to the table. So obviously, there's been a huge sort of disagreement between banks, the banking lobby, and the crypto lobby on stablecoin yields. और ये काफी दिन से चल रहा है. Obviously, ब्रायन आर्मस्ट्रॉन्ग मूव्ड ऑफ कि उसने बोला कि नहीं भाई मैं नहीं करने वाला ये सब. फिर जेपी मॉर्गन वाले भी दे वर पुशिंग बैक ऑन दिस. I guess Trump is trying to call them back on the table, and obviously यानी ट्रम्प का इंटरेस्ट भी है ये करने में because his fortunes also linked to the sort of broader crypto
Yeah,
market.
but did you hear the news today with
Yeah.
Trump's fortune and the broader crypto market?
कितना
Have you
हुआ?
heard that news?
नहीं
No,
यार.
you heard. Okay,
क्या
so
हुआ?
apparently they sold 49% of the World Liberty stake to the UAE Royals.
Oh yeah, that I saw. That I
No.
saw. They sold their stake in World Liberty
World
Financials.
Liberty, yeah, 549% of it, yeah.
Yeah. वो तो करना ही था यार. वो पूरे दोनों हाथों से पैसे बटोर रहा है वो. अगले 4 साल और बटोरेगा.
सेनेटर वॉरेन बोल रही है ना कि दिस इज करप्शन, इस पे इंडाइट करो इसको.
Yeah, वो अब यूएस में द थिंग इज राइट कि वॉरेन भी कोई ऐसी कोई बहुत दूध की धुली नहीं है ना. दैट इज आल्सो अ प्रॉब्लम.
एग्जैक्टली.
उसके बारे में भी कितनी चीजें आ गई हैं बाहर. आई एम जस्ट सरप्राइज कि वो उसमें एप्स्टीन फाइल्स में नहीं थी वो.
She didn't have what was required.
Canada and India close to finalize about 10 years uranium supply agreement worth about 2.83
Yeah.
billion, expected to be signed in the first week of March 2026. And ETH L2s outpace ETH by 900%, like reach in effect
And what?
monthly transactions. ETH L2s. So yeah, this is I guess this is in a sense कि ETH L2s का बढ़ रहा है तो obviously ETH के लिए भी अच्छा ही है. And this is what they wanted with like the last Fusaka upgrade, like what Realist said कि
Yeah.
हमने L2s के लिए कर दिया है. So yes, ठीक है. All right. Anything else that you guys want to add? नरकुंडी
Not
तो
from
एकदम से
my end.
चुप हो
Like
गया
I
यार.
always say
70
कि भाई stay
70 अगर
safe. मैं
चला
तो
गया
हर
तो
बार यही बोलता हूँ.
क्या?
यार अगर 70 टच हो गया तो फिर लाइक फ्री फॉल.
70 टच हो
अरे
गया तो फिर
आज BTC को देख 85 टच करने वाला है ब्रो. तू देखना आज रात को.
मैंने कहा
Today the
अगर
Narkundi indicator
अगर
will work, bro.
ये दिल से निकली थी देख. ये दिल से निकली थी. No,
Yeah, ये दिल से निकली
guys,
थी.
there are 10 people live right now, and guys, if you're tracking this, please track the Narkundi indicator. नरकुंडी पनौती में जिम क्रेमर का बाप है. सो अगर उसने बोला है कि 70 टच किया नीचे और फिर फ्री फॉल है, मतलब कि आपको देखना है कि ये काउंटर इंडिकेटर काम कर रहा है कि नहीं.
बस
प्लीज
आ
टेल
गया
अस.
बॉटम.
Please like, subscribe, share, and leave some comments on the Narkundi indicator. We'll be back tomorrow night. Thank you so much for joining us. Good night, guys.
See you guys.
चलो
Adios.
बाय.